Good day everyone, this is Teacher Cherry. In this video, we will learn about proving theorems on isosceles trapezoid. We will prove theorems on isosceles trapezoid and solve problems related to isosceles trapezoid. Before we prove the theorems on isosceles trapezoid, let us first define isosceles trapezoid. An isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid with congruent legs. There are three theorems on isosceles trapezoid. The first one is the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. The next theorem is opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. And for the third theorem, the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Para mas maintindihan natin, we will prove these theorems on isosceles trapezoid. This is the first theorem on isosceles trapezoid. The base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. To prove, let us have an example. We have the given isosceles trapezoid MATH. We will prove that angle H is congruent to angle T and angle HMA is congruent to angle MAT. This is our figure. We have isosceles trapezoid MATH. So, ipoprove natin na yung base angles H at T ay congruent at base angles HMA and angle MAT are also congruent. To prove, let us use the two-column proof. For the first column, we have the statements, and for the second column, we have the reasons. So, meron na tayo ditong mga given statements. Ang wala na lang ay yung ating reasons. For statement number 1, we have isosceles trapezoid MATH. So, our reason is this is given. For statement number 2, we have line segment MA is parallel to line segment HT. At saka, line segment MH is congruent to line segment AT. This is our line segment MA. This is parallel to line segment HT. And then, line segment MH is congruent to line segment AT. So, our reason is by the definition of isosceles trapezoid. So, trapezoid with congruent legs at saka parallel sides. For number 3 statement, we have to draw line segment MP is perpendicular to line segment HT and line segment HT is perpendicular to line segment HT such that line segment HP is equal to line segment QT. So we have here line segment MP is perpendicular to line segment MT. And line segment AQ is perpendicular to line segment HT. Such that, ang line segment HP daw is equal to line segment QT. So, our reason is by construction. For number 4, we have line segment HP is congruent to line segment QT. This is our line segment HP. While this is our line segment QT. They are congruent by the definition of congruent segment. So, ang definition ng congruent segments that have the same length. For statement number 5, we have angle MPH and angle AQT are right angles. So, this is our angle MPH. So, MPH, this is the angle. While angle AQT, so this is the angle. They are right angles. So, ano yung reason natin bakit they are right angles? By the definition of perpendicular segments. Ang perpendicular segments are two lines or two segments that meet or intersect each other at right angles or 90 degrees. So, sabi natin kanina sa statement number 3, ang line segment MP is perpendicular to HP. Therefore, angle MPH is 90 degrees. And then, line segment AQ is perpendicular to HT. Therefore, angle AQT is a right angle. For statement number 6, we have triangle MPH and triangle AQT are right triangles. So, this is our triangle MPH, while this is our triangle AQT. So, they are right triangles by the definition of right triangle. So, ang definition ng right triangle ay right triangle is a triangle in which one angle is a right angle or 90 degrees. For statement number 7, triangle MPH is congruent to triangle AQT. So, ito yung triangle MPH and triangle AQT. They are triangle because of the hypotenuse leg congruence theorem. So, paano sila naging congruent? By hypotenuse leg congruence theorem. So, in statement number 2, we have line segment MH is congruent to line segment AT. So, they are congruent. So, that is the hypotenuse of the two triangles. And then, sa statement number 4 natin, line segment HP is congruent to line segment QT. So, these are the legs of the triangle. So, kung yung hypotenuse at legs ay congruent sa corresponding hypotenuse at leg ng another triangle, therefore, they are congruent. For statement number 8, angle H is congruent to angle T. Angle H is congruent to angle T. So, since na-prove natin na yung dalawang triangles ay congruent, therefore, their corresponding parts are congruent. Or CPTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. For statement number 9, angle HMA and angle H are supplementary angles. Angle TAM and angle T are supplementary angles. So, ang ating reason is by same side interior angles theorem. Same side interior angles theorem are supplementary. So, yung angle HMA natin and then yung angle H, so, nandito sila sa same side ng ating line segment. They are same side interior angle. And then, yung ating angle TAM at saka angle T, nasa same side din sila. Same side interior angle sila. Ang kanilang sum ay 180 degrees. For number 10, angle HMA is congruent to angle TAM. So, this is our angle HMA and this is our angle TAM. They are congruent by supplement theorem. So, ang supplement theorem, supplements of congruent angles are congruent. So, na-prove na natin yung first theorem on isosceles trapezoid. Let's apply it in solving problems involving the first theorem on isosceles trapezoid. Okay, let's solve. Our given is isosceles trapezoid MATH. So, we have here isosceles trapezoid MATH. Number 1, if angle H equals 85 degrees, what is the measure of angle T? So this is our angle H, which is 85 degrees. What is the measure of angle T? Our answer is 85 degrees because of the first theorem on isosceles trapezoid. The base angles of an isosceles trapezoids are congruent. Number 2, if angle A equals 105 degrees, what is the measure of angle M? So this is our angle A, 105 degrees, and this is our angle M. So yung angle M at saka angle A are base angles. Therefore, they are congruent. So the measure of angle M is also 105 degrees. Let us now proceed to the second theorem on isosceles trapezoid. The second theorem states that opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. Ano ibig sabihin ng supplementary? Ang supplementary angles ay two angles whose sum is equal to 180 degrees. To prove this theorem, let us have an example. Our given is isosceles trapezoid LOVE. We will prove that angle O and angle E are supplementary and angle L and angle V are supplementary. This is the figure. We have isosceles trapezoid LOVE. To prove, we will use the two-column proof. We have the statements for the first column and reasons for the second column. For number 1, we will copy the given, isosceles trapezoid LOVE. So, ang reason is given. For our statement number 2, line segment LO is congruent to line segment VE and line segment OV is congruent to line segment LE. This is line segment LO. It is congruent to line segment VE and line segment OV is congruent to line segment LE. Our reason is by the definition of isosceles trapezoid. So, trapezoid with congruent legs. For number 3, our statement is from O, draw line segment OS is parallel to line segment VE, where S lies on line segment LE. So, from O, so we will draw line segment OS that is parallel to line segment VE, where S lies on line segment LE. So, our reason is by the parallel postulate. Parallel postulate states that through any given point not on the line, so yung point O natin not on the line, there passes exactly one line parallel to that line in the same plane. So, yung line segment OS, parallel siya sa line segment VE. They lie on the same plane. For statement number 4, so given yung reason, the definition of parallelogram, so we have the parallelogram OSEV. So, OSEV is a parallelogram. For statement number 5, we have line segment VE is congruent to line segment OS. This is our line segment VE and this is our line segment OS. They are congruent by property of a parallelogram. So, ang property ng parallelogram natin is opposite sides are congruent. For number 6, we have the reason transitive property. So, we have line segment LO is congruent to line segment OS. So, from statement number 2, we have line segment LO is congruent to line segment VE. And statement number 5, we have line segment VE is congruent to line segment OS. So, if A equals B and B equals C, therefore, A equals C. So, therefore, line segment LO is congruent to line segment OS. For number 7, we have triangle LOS is an isosceles triangle. So, we have here triangle LOS. So, bakit siya isosceles triangle? Because of the definition of isosceles triangle. So, sabi natin kanina, yung line segment LO ay congruent siya sa line segment OS. Therefore, meron siyang two sides na merong equal length. For number 8, we have angle 3 is congruent to angle L. This is our angle 3. This is congruent to angle L by the isosceles triangle theorem. Ano ba yung isosceles triangle theorem? Ang isosceles triangle theorem states that base angles of an isosceles triangles are congruent. For statement number 9, measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle L equals 180 degrees. This is angle 1, angle 3, and angle L. So, ang sum nila ay equal sa 180 degrees by the interior angle sum theorem on triangle. So, yung sum ng mga interior angles ng triangle ay equal sa 180 degrees. For number 10, statement number 10, we have angle 3 is congruent to angle 2. This is angle 3 and this is angle 2. So, they are alternate interior angles. So, ang alternate interior angles are congruent. Let's continue our proof. We have statement number 11. Angle L is congruent to angle E. This is our angle L and this is our angle E. They are congruent by our first theorem kanina. So, the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So, angle L and angle E are base angles. For statement number 12, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle E is equal to 180 degrees. So, gagamitin natin yung statement number 9, 10, and 11. Sasubstitute natin. So, this is our statement 9. Measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle L equals 180 degrees. Statement 10 natin, angle 3 is congruent to angle 2. And for statement 11, we have angle L equals angle E. So, sa measure of angle 3, sa substitute natin ay measure of angle 2. Kaya meron tayong measure of angle 2 dito. And sa measure of angle L, papalitan natin siya ng angle E. So, we have here measure of angle E equal siya sa 180 degrees. For statement number 13, we have angle 1 plus angle 2 equals angle LOV. That is by the angle addition postulate. So, ano ba yung angle addition postulate? Yung measure ng larger angle ay equal siya sa sum ng measure ng dalawang smaller angles. So, angle 1 and angle 2, ito yung dalawang smaller angles. So, yung sum nila ay equal dito sa angle LOV. For statement number 14, the measure of angle LOV plus measure of angle E equals 180 degrees. So, ano yung ating isa-substitute? Mula dito sa ating statement number 12 at saka statement number 13. Isa-substitute natin dito sa angle 1 at angle 2 itong angle LOV. So, meron na tayong ang angle 1 at angle 2, sum nila ay equal sa angle LOV. So, we have measure of angle LOV plus measure of angle E equals 180 degrees. For statement number 15, we have the measure of angle E plus measure of angle V equals 180 degrees. So, nasaan yung angle E natin? Nandito. At ito naman yung ating angle V. Okay, so ang kanilang sum ay 180 degrees. Kung mapapansin ninyo, they are the same side interior angles. Kung sila ay same side interior angles, they are supplementary. For number 16, our statement is the measure of angle L plus measure of angle V equals 180 degrees. So, this is our angle L and this is our angle V. So, they are equal to 180 degrees. So, paano nangyari yon? So, from statement number 15, we have measure of angle E plus measure of angle B equals 180 degrees. So, sinubstitute natin yung angle L is congruent to angle E. So, yung angle E natin ay naging measure of angle L. So, ang reason natin for statement 16 is by substitution from statement number 11 and 15. And for our next statement, angle O and angle E are supplementary. Angle L and angle V are supplementary by the definition of supplementary angles. Two angles whose sum is equal to 180 degrees. Let's now apply this theorem in solving problems involving isosceles trapezoid. Let's solve. Our given is isosceles trapezoid MATH. For number 1, if angle M equals 120 degrees, what is the measure of angle T? So, this is angle M, measures 120 degrees, and this is angle T. So, what is the relationship between the two angles? So, angle M and angle T are opposite angles. Base sa ating theorem kanina, ang opposite angles ng isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. So, ang sum nila ay 180 degrees. Since angle M is 120 degrees, so subtract natin from 180 degrees. 180 minus 120 is equal to 60 degrees. So, that is the measure of angle T. For number 2, if the measure of angle H is 98, what is the measure of angle A? So, this is our angle H and this is our angle A. They are opposite angles. Their sum is 180 degrees. Therefore, 180 minus 98 is equal to 82 degrees. That is the measure of angle A. Let's now proceed to another theorem on isosceles trapezoid. We have the third theorem. The diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. To prove, we will have an example. Our given is isosceles trapezoid CUTE. we will prove that line segment CT is congruent to line segment EU. This is our figure. So we have isosceles trapezoid CUTE. So, yung line segment CT ay congruent daw sa line segment EU. So, line segment CT and line segment EU are the diagonals of the isosceles trapezoid. Ipoprove natin na they are congruent. Okay, so to prove, we will have the two-column proof. So, for our statement number 1, we will copy the given isosceles trapezoid CUTE. Okay, so ang nakalagay na reason dyan is given. For statement number 2, line segment UC is congruent to line segment TE. So this is our line segment UC. Congruent siya sa line segment TE by the definition of isosceles trapezoid. Ang isosceles trapezoid ay trapezoid na mayroong congruent legs. For number 3, we have the angle CUT is congruent to angle ETU. This is angle CUT, so this is the angle CUT. And another angle ETU, so ETU, this is angle ETU. So they are congruent by our theorem number 3 kanina, yung ating first theorem, the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So, base angles yung dalawa. For statement number 4, we have line segment UT is congruent to line segment TU. So, this is line segment UT, congruent sa line segment TU, so equal siya sa sarili niya. Ang reason natin is by reflexive property. A equals A. For number 5, ang given na reason is by SAS congruence postulate. Ano yung dalawang triangles na congruent? So, sabi natin kanina, yung UC congruent siya sa TE. So, that is side. And then, pangalawa, angle CUT. Okay, so this is angle CUT and angle ETU. So, yun yung pangalawang corresponding parts. And then, yung pangatlo ay line segment TUT is congruent to line segment TU. So, ano yung dalawang triangles na merong side angle side na congruent? So, we have the triangle CUT at saka yung triangle ETU. So we have triangle CUT is congruent to triangle ETU by side angle side congruence postulate. And for number 6, we have line segment CT is congruent to line segment EU. So this is line segment CT and this is line segment EU. So corresponding parts sila. So, if the two triangles are congruent, their corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent or CPCTC. So, na-prove natin na yung diagonals ng ating trapezoid are congruent. Let's apply this theorem. So, let's solve problems involving isosceles trapezoid. Let's solve. Our given is isosceles trapezoid MATH. So, we have here isosceles trapezoid MATH. For number 1, if line segment MT is equal to 36, what is the measure of line segment AH? So, line segment MT is one diagonal. Okay, hinahanap naman din yung measure ng another diagonal line segment AH. Based sa ating third theorem kanina, the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So, if MT is 36 centimeters, therefore, line segment AT is also 36 centimeters. Let's have another problem. The same pa rin, isosceles trapezoid MATH. Okay, if line segment MT equals 2y minus 3 and line segment AH equals y plus 5, what is the value of y and how long is each diagonal? So, meron na tayo ditong variable y sa ating given. So, to solve for y, so i-apply natin yung theorem. Ang diagonals natin na MT at saka diagonal na AH ay congruent. So, they are equal. Line segment MT is equal to line segment AH. Ang next step natin, substitute natin yung mga given dito sa ating equation. So, line segment MT is 2y minus 3, while line segment AH is y plus 5. So, pagsamahin natin yung variable at saka constant. Okay, so, yung y, tatranspose natin, magiging negative y. So, 2y minus y is y. And then, si negative 3, tatranspose natin, magiging positive 3. So, we have 5 plus 3 is 8. So, our y equals 8. So, that is the value of y. And, how long is each diagonal? So, ang gagawin lang natin, isa-substitute natin yung value ng y, which is 8 dito sa ating equation. So, line segment MT is equal to 2y minus 3. Substitute natin yung value ng y, which is 8. So, 2 times 8 minus 3. 2 times 8 is 16 minus 3. That is 13. So, line segment MT is equal to 13. For line segment AH, y plus 5. So, gagamitin natin. And then, substitute natin yung 8. So, line segment AH equals 8 plus 5. And 8 plus 5 is equal to 13. As you can see, parehas yung nakuhang value for line segment MT at saka line segment AH. Dahil nga, sila yung diagonals ng ating isosceles trapezoid. And based sa ating theorem, the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. For our next video is about proving the theorems on kite. So, keep on watching.